Hello, Dave here again from Creative Guitar Lounge. I wanted to do a video about a recent upgrade I've just done to my trusty old 1998 Gibson Les Paul Studio, which I think is now sounding kind of nice. So I bought a pre-wired wiring loom from a brilliant place called Bloodstone Guitar Works, which is in England, and I had a couple of conversations with the guy who does all the work there, a guy called David, who put me right and made sure I was buying the right thing to suit this guitar, because he makes a lot of these different pre-wired kits for all sorts of different guitars, and they all have different kind of sizes and dimensions and requirements, as you might expect. The other complication with this is I fitted a long time ago a Bartolini pickup in the bridge position, which is a little bit finicky, but we'll get to that. But the reason I did it, well, twofold really. I've used this guitar for 25 years. That's how old it is. It's been on stage with me all over the place, hundreds of gigs, and it's been a really trusty kind of studio guitar as well. But what I always found was that this pickup, the neck pickup, it sounded very sort of muddy to me. That's just the standard Gibson pickup that came with the guitar, and it just had a kind of muddy sound that, to be honest, didn't really use very much. So when the switch kind of packed up for the first time many years ago, I kind of bought a replacement, changed the switch over, and it worked a little bit, but I just kept having problems with the switch. And since I didn't particularly like the sound of the pickup, I didn't really bother very much. I just had it like this, and I just used that bridge pickup for everything. And through my Marshall valve amp and a couple of pedals, it kind of gave me everything I needed for all the live work and all the kind of studio work that I did with my band over all those years. But just recently I bought, you've probably possibly seen my review video, I bought a Harley Benton. It's downstairs at the moment. Semi-hollow bodied guitar, and it just got me back into that kind of humbucker thing again, and I thought I really should do something with old Blackie here. So I decided to go looking for new components, and I looked at, there's quite a few, well, there are a number of people that do these pre-wired kits, and what you get is all of the electronics, the pots, the volume and tone pots, the jack socket, and if you want a switch. And they're all done with really high quality components. It's like CTS pots, in this case a Switchcraft switch, and just a really top quality jack socket. And all the wires are really thick, kind of braided 50s style thing. And there are different capacitors to the standard. These are the old tone and volume pots, and they have this old style capacitor. And apparently, I'm not an electronics guy, but from everything I'd read, the replacement, the capacitors are called Orange Dot, and they're kind of 50s style standard kind of setup. It's also wired in that kind of 50s sort of style, which again I didn't know very much about, but it basically has it basically affects how the tone and volume controls work together, because traditionally the way Gibson have these set up after the 50s, if you're turning the volume down, it affects the tone quite a lot. And these new wiring looms, one of which I went and bought, does away with that, so you still get the tone to be kind of unaffected when you bring the volume down. So it's really nice. I just actually installed this yesterday, and I've just had a little play about through my little Black Star amp, and the little bit I was mucking around with there was just through my GT100, so through an emulator. But I'm really enjoying the sound of it. I really actually like the sound of the neck pickup now. It just sounds a bit brighter than it ever was. It doesn't have that muddy thing. It's kind of usable, and it sounds to me better than it ever did. So I'm really chuffed, and I'm glad I went ahead and did that. But if it's something you're considering doing yourself, and maybe like me, you're not the best solderer in the world, I can solder things, and there is a little bit of soldering involved when you buy one of these things. But like I say, a lot of the actual, what I'd call the tricky stuff, which is the wires that go, you get all this all pre-soldered and it's laid out on a card. I'll show you pictures. In fact, let's go and do that now. Here's the kit that you get from Bloodstone Guitar Works when you order whichever kit is relevant for your particular guitar. And you can see it's all really nicely soldered, really nice high quality components. These are the orange drop capacitors, I mentioned the orange things there. And everything's labelled. You'll see there are dots on the solder, coloured dots that correspond to dots on the wire, so that you can follow the wiring diagram that comes with it and pop everything into the right place. All I had to do for my guitar, because I ordered the switch included, as you see from the card there, that's already wired in, I had to actually unsolder that and pull it through the channel in the guitar to where the switch actually fits on the top of the Les Paul. So again, because this is all marked up, and I took some photos just to be absolutely sure I didn't make mistakes, but because it's all nicely marked up, it's really easy to just resolder the wires. And then all that was left to do was to resolder the pickups. You have to unsolder those from the pots, all the old stuff that you take out. But the blobs of solder have been put on the new loom that comes from Bloodworks, and again they're marked with felt pen, so you know where your neck pickup and your bridge pickup have to go. Now, in most pickups, you just have a positive and a negative or a shield, but the Bartolini that I have has 4 different wires because of the way it's wired up. But again, I had pictures of my old setup, and here they are, and I was able to see which wires had been sort of used and then tied off together and not used, and then where they were soldered to the relevant pots. So with help from a diagram I got from Bartolini, their website, I was able to kind of work that out okay and get that redone. So what I did was unsoldered the switch from Bloodstone, and unsoldered the existing switch from the pots, the old pots, and before I dragged it all back out, I just taped the wires from the new switch onto the old ones and pulled them through the guitar body like that. And then it was pretty simple, like I say, because of the way it nicely marked up, to resolder the new switch and put it all back together. So I was pretty chuffed with the whole thing. I didn't expect it to be as easy. I'm not a very good solderer, so it would probably be easier for other people. There was a little bit of swearing and stuff on my part, but if you're better at soldering than me and more organised, you probably would avoid all that. It was pretty straightforward. Okay guys, so I hope you found that useful, and if you're looking to go ahead and do this, I hope you find that kind of informative. It's really just a question of kind of following the instructions, which are pretty easy, taking your time, and yeah, just go for it. I think this guitar sounds much better. It's completely usable now, and like I say, the pickup that I never used before I will do now, and it sounds better than it ever did before. So rock on. If you enjoyed this, please do subscribe and leave me comments, ask questions, anything you like the video if you do, and like I say, if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. It really helps me out an awful lot. And meantime, thanks for everything, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.